Welcome to the Jackson Heights Cobra Cast and the Coach Wick Show. The Cobras' playoff run continues. The Cobras defeated Riverside this last week in the sectional round. This week, Jackson Heights will host the Rossville Bulldogs in the sub-state round of the 1A playoffs. The winners move on to the sub-state championship in Hutchinson. Coach, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
So let's talk about the Riverside game first. We knew that Riverside was going to take a big step up from week 1 to week 2. This past week. How big of a win was that for your program?
It was a big win for us, and we struggled a little bit there in the first half. Going down 14-6 going into halftime, but I felt like we made some good adjustments there at halftime, and defense came out and only allowed 10 total plays in the second half. And like I said, they kind of dominated in the offense. Took control, scored twice in the second half, and led them scoreless, so we came out with the victory. But I think our offense needs to be more efficient this week. We need to take care of the ball. We had a couple turnovers on Friday that can't happen in big games, especially in the sub-state finals, making your way to a state championship game. So hopefully we can sure up everything and come out this week and have a good game.
So speaking of the deficit, the past 2 weeks we faced some major adversity where we found ourselves trailing at certain points in the game. This was a concern all year long. How would we react if we pushed late in the games? Talk about resiliency of this team and how important it is during the playoffs.
You got to have resiliency, and you got to be able to confront adversity during the playoffs. We know it's not going to be an easy game. Starting with Southeast Cherokee in the first round of the playoffs, and then we go to Olpe, and we all know how that ended, and we were able to come out on top on that. And then with the Riverside game, but those last two games, like you said, just the resiliency of this team and the adversity that they have to overcome. I think it's just I credit that to age. We hit a lot of adversity last year as well, and we're able to overcome that multiple times. And then going into that close game against Rossville last year, I think we learned a lot of things from that. So adversity is always good to have, and it's always good to come out on top when you face adversity. So hopefully we can just continue that trend.
So, speaking of Rossville, we all know what happened last year, and I'm sure our guys are ready for this one, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're ready. We just got to come out with it's another game. That 1-0 mindset, not try to do too much too early, and just go in there, stick to our keys, do our jobs, and then whatever happens. It's going to be a great football game. Either team can come out on top. It's just whichever one executes the best.
So, with Colgan losing this past week, we have hosted throughout the playoffs for the past 2 years in a row. What does that mean for playing at home for the whole playoffs?
It's great playing at home in front of the home fans. Everything after school and everything is all status quo. It's good not to get on a bus and take a long bus ride to wherever you may go. So also having a home crowd is also good. You can have Cobra Nation here yelling and screaming for us. So it's always good to have that home field advantage, and it's something you really work for and really prepare for during the course of the year, and you should get rewarded for going undefeated during the course of the year. So that's another way that we're handling this situation. But it was a big deal that Colgan lost to Rossville last week, so we host this game. So hopefully we can take advantage of it.
Yeah, it should be an exciting night of football. Make sure you can, if you are able to, come down to Dave Henry Field for Friday night at 7 p.m. for the 1A Sub-State Championship game. Coach, good luck, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys, as always.